Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
All right, welcome in. This is kind of an emergency episode, a little bit, just kind of a, I don't know, not really breaking news, but kind of developing news. The NFL is genius. And by the way, this is, speaking of genius, Daily Vikings entertainment here. Three geniuses, not really. We're just trying to get by. Mackie, Judd, Declan, our executive producer. And the show is presented by our friends at Surly Brewing Company and TCL, one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands. They have a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. The NFL is genius. Not only have they figured out that the thirst and interest in the schedule is at a point where they can put it in a primetime special. Even though everyone knows who the opponents are going to be at the end of the previous season, the order in which you play the opponents is worthy of a primetime schedule release on May 12th. And they've been doing this for years, and we'll probably do a live podcast or something. But now they've also figured out if we release little nuggets, just like little pieces of bait a week before, 2 weeks before, we can get people talking here. So we now know that we've got 3 London games on the docket, and the Vikings are one of them. The Vikings will play on October 2nd in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They will play the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Packers, the next week on October 9th, they also play in the same stadium in London. But here's the biggest key. The Vikings already have it's an odd number of games, so you've got the 9 and 8. Last year, the AFC teams got 9 home games. This year, the NFC teams get 9 home games. So you have 9 home games, which is great. And now you only play 7 true road games because the Saints are going to have a home game taken off their schedule. So the Vikings are going to have 9 home games, 7 road games, and a neutral site London game. The Packers have a game taken away from Lambeau Field with this trip to London. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. So, what do you guys think about the Vikings going back across the pond and playing in London?
Well, not only is this a home game for an opposing team essentially or completely taken away, it is taken away from one of the most intimidating, hardest to play stadiums in the entire league because the Superdome is very loud. It's a very difficult place to play. And now, instead of playing there, you're probably going to be playing in front of a crowd that, is Saints fans, Vikings fans, and football fans from across the pond. This is a tremendous break. Like, when you're thinking about the places where you play, like, I believe it was a Cleveland home game. So the last time, and I think this game was also in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I believe they played the Browns there about 3 or 4 years back on a Sunday morning. Here, at least. And I think that was a Browns game that was going to be at home for the Browns. And that's a, mildly tough place to play, but it's an outdoor stadium. It's loud, but it's not like loud like the Superdome is. Yeah. So I think that if you're the Vikings, you couldn't have planned this better. I mean, you're thrilled. You now are going to play what amounts to a neutral site game instead of playing in a really tough place. Now, the flight's a little bit different. There are some yeah, but I mean, there are probably some obstacles of the game itself. So it's not a complete free pass, but I'll take the upside here, which is no Superdome.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the early bye if it means I get one less true road game. And I know flying to London, that's a task in its own hand just in general, whether you're playing a football game or going out there for a vacation. But I'd much rather have the early bye and just 7 road games, 7 true road games, and especially without New Orleans. Like, if it was the Jaguars hosting it, I'd be like, oh, well, like, no one's going to go to that Jacksonville game anyway in Florida, so that's different. But this is New Orleans, like Judd said. Superdome's one of the toughest places to play in all the NFL. So give me the early bye if it means I have one less true road game to play.
So, and to that point, yeah, so there's almost certainly going to be a bye. It will be the week after. That's how it usually works, right? You play in London, after. Then you get
It'll go out there 6, right?
You go out there early, yeah. Is it week 6? I don't know. This is like week 4.
It'd be week 5. Yeah, we would have the 5th.
This is week 4. Gotcha.
So the Saints game's week 4. So this would be the week 5 would be the bye.
Thank you.
So this would be, the season starts officially on September. It's September 15th is the first Thursday game, I believe.
Okay.
So week 1, I think I'm just looking this up here. I probably should have come better prepared, but yeah, the Chargers Chiefs on September 15th at 5:20, which means week 1 is September 18th. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but this would be a week 3 game for the Vikings in London and a week 4 bye. So you get which that might make it kind of brutal on the back end. You have an extra, it's a 17th game, right? Players don't generally, and coaches don't love the early buys.
Yes.
But, actually, here we go. I take that back. The season is set to kick off on Thursday, September 8th. So it is a week. So it is a week 4 game and a week 5 bye. But it's still an early bye. And now you're going to have to go on a big run of games. But I think I'm with Declan. If the trade-off is I only have to play 7 true road games and I get 9 home games, and the Saints are beatable for sure on any field, but especially a neutral site, I kind of dig this. And the part of the trade-off, too, is if you get the Packers having to take a game away from Lambeau and travel and play in London on a neutral site, and I'm here for it.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, because of the time that this is going to kick in London, that this is like an 8:20 game Central Time, which means it's like a 6:20 game Macadac time.
A little breakfast and ball, baby. Let's get it.
Which means a very early vent line, and then Declan can go golfing.
There you go.
Oh my God, I
He'll be
didn't think of
happy
that.
too.
That's
It's
a big
October. It's going
weekend
to be
for me.
gorgeous that day, I bet.
I think I got Chris Stapleton too 2 nights before. I get an early football game on a Sunday. I'm ready to rock. That'll be a great weekend.
I love breakfast football now. It's great.
It's
You got to
great.
wake up a little bit early. I don't love that, but I do
don't love
it
that.
once you're on your couch, pajama pants and play, very comfortable. I like it. I dig that.
Is
I
that
will
too
say
early to
it's-
drink a Surly? Oh, sorry, Declan. Go ahead.
No,
I
I was-
almost just brilliantly transitioned into an ad read
Yeah,
there,
no,
but
that's
fine.
okay. And to be honest, I was going to say a coffee bender surely would be great at that early. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Okay.
And you know what? Both of you guys, one, Macadac, the answer to your question is no. 2, Sports Sun, genius, exactly right. Coffee bender. A Furious is fine too, but yes, a coffee bender probably completely appropriate. And let me make this very clear. On a weekend when there's football in play, when they kick, it's time for a Surly. So never judge it on the actual time, judge it on the event. And so, yes, if you want to get whatever you want from Surly Brewing, make sure that you head there on Saturday, though, because there ain't going to be time. Sunday's going to come quickly. But yes, you can get your coffee bender on Saturday, crack it open at kickoff on Sunday, make the most of what will be a great sports day.
Yeah. Okay. You guys have any other takes on the schedule being sort of trickling out here before we get to the JC Treader speculation?
I'm not a huge fan of the early bye as well. I like the fact that you don't get the Saints at home. And the last thing is this: what do we think the first few games are going to be then? Because I would imagine that the Vikings will open at home then, possibly. Because this is a road game and it's a neutral site road game. But do we think that the Vikings will then September 8th be at home for the first Kevin O'Connell coach game?
I think there's a good chance. I think there's like a 50% chance. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
I wonder if they'd put it in that one on a Monday night. First game, KOC.
Well, they
When
usually
do we're going to get some of those trickling out too, right? Aren't we going to get some some special prime time, some
Yes,
hot matchups or something?
You know what? I think you're right.
do we still do the 2 Monday night football setup? Do we get rid of that?
I think we got
Did we
rid
do
of
that
that,
last
so
year?
they might not. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we got rid of. I think it's no longer the double dip on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So I might be wrong. It might just be a Sunday noon kick.
I love the double dip on Monday, but I don't necessarily need Chris Berman calling the late game. They did that for a few years, didn't they? I think they stopped.
We rotated
recently,
around. It was Berman. It was Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, just all over the
Dilfer.
place.
Oh, the Dilfer. Yeah.
The Dilfer game. I thought that's where you were trying to look for on the button bar there.
No, I was actually looking for something totally different, but now that you mention it.
You think you like football? Trent Dilfer doesn't just really like football. He loves football.
This is Spider 2 snag. Not wide banana, the one he likes, but that's Spider 2 snag, and he knows what I'm talking about, but using Anquan Bolden as the fullback. Football! Football, yeah! Football! Football!
Amazing. All right. There is, it's been sort of my daily thing on this show to point out that one of the top 5 centers in the NFL is available as a free agent. He's a veteran. His knees are shot, but whatever. He still played every game last year. J.C. Tretter. My J.C. Tretter daily propaganda has been, I think, taking the show by storm here. Well, there's a thread on Vikings Reddit today, or yesterday, that stockpiles several of Joe Tretter, who is J.C. Tretter's dad, Joe Tretter's liked tweets on Twitter. Interesting.
Reckless speculation.
He's liking a bunch of tweets that are calling for J.C. Tretter to go to Minnesota. So I'll just read some of these. Well, the draft is over. Time to get back on the J.C. Tretter train. That tweet was sent to our account, by the way, Score North. And these aren't people tweeting at J.C. Tretter. This is him seeking out. This is Joe Tretter seeking out J.C. Tretter content and liking it.
Okay.
Can someone please announce J.C. Tretter to the Vikings? Here's some of the tweets at J.C. Tretter. Hey, boss, I hope your Sunday's going well. Hey, we got some young guys that could really use a veteran leader that can produce. You like purple? Joe Tretter. Here's a guy named Jimmy tweeting at the Vikings. Please sign Tretter now. Thanks. And then someone tweets at Joe Tretter. Like this tweet if J.C. Tretter is close to signing with the Vikings. Someone even posted a screenshot of a direct message exchange between themselves and Joe Tretter saying, hey, we'd love to have your son in a Vikings uniform. What are the chances? And Joe Tretter's response is, the Vikings are definitely in the top 5. It's up to them.
So
what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are simple. My guess is that
Reckless speculation.
Joe Tretter watches this show.
Well, he'll find this if we put J.C.
Sure.
Tretter
and
in
what
the
I
headline.
would like to say is,
Clickbait.
Mr. Tretter, join us. Put the pitch out there. We're all on board. We're all on board with your son, your veteran son with possibly bad knees, but a whole lot of moxie and savvy and experience.
Okay, if the Vikings sign J.C. Tretter, do they go from being a bottom 5 offensive line to a top 10 offensive line? Because think about this. If you take Bradbury, who's the weakest link, goodbye, and you bring in J.C. Tretter, so you're going them from a bottom 5 center to a top 5 center.
Yeah.
You've got 2 above average tackles. O'Neal is one of the top 10 right tackles in the NFL. Darisaw was around league average, but getting better as the year progressed. And then going into year 2, he's on the rise.
Yep,
and then between Ezra Cleveland, Chris Reed, Ed Ingram, Wyatt Davis, Jesse Davis, you've got 2 average guards in there somewhere.
Yes.
So if you've got above average on the tackles, average guards, and a top 5 or 6 center, that's the best offensive line in a decade if they can bring J.C. Tretter in.
Well, and I love the thought of just a grizzled, beat up, but savvy veteran anchoring this thing. Seriously, I do. The offensive line to me needs a guy like this. Because, these guys are in physically by what, Phil, Dex? They're, 8th years. They're in terrible shape as far as being beat up, right? But the experience that he would bring, the moxie, the savvy, the grizzled, probably just blood dripping from his chin every Sunday, grizzled veteran. I like this. And I think that a guy like that can help guards. I think that a guy like that, because they know things. And guess who else that guy can help? Kirk. Kirk needs, I will continue to say this, to maximize the Kirk experience, you need as many brains around him that are calm, cool, and collected, because, that's not really Kirk. And so, if you have Kevin O'Connell being the quarterback brain and J.C. Tretter being the, what's going on here? Oh, I know. I'll calm this thing down. Yes, I am fully on board. I'm fully on board. And if the old man wants to come on again and make the pitch, I'd like to hear it. Here's what I would like to know. Is your son in physical condition enough to continue playing? And I'm dead serious. I'm not being a smart ass.
Yeah, according to different reports in Cleveland, he did play every game.
Yeah.
In fact, the only game he's missed really in the last 5 years is because he missed a game because of COVID a year or two ago. But that his knees were in, and he's had an ankle issue that he just didn't practice much. He just kind of got up for the games. And listen, like, whatever, if you can perform at that level in the games, I don't really care if you practice or not, but he's going to come into a new team, new system. You're going to have to practice to some extent. So is it just that he needed an off season to let the knees breathe a little bit, or is it more of a chronic issue,
right,
as a guy who's like 32 years old? I don't know. Now, what we do know is Garrett Bradbury is on borrowed time here. First of all, he's not good, but he's also got 1 year left now on his contract because they just declined his 5th-year option. So you can use a stopgap. It's not like a situation where, you're going to stunt the growth of a good young player here who's under contract for 4 or 5 years. You need an upgrade, and you're only really looking for a 1 or a 2 year situation, depending on the health of his knees.
I'm on board.
So
totally
now
on board,
I will add that his dad is also liking tweets from other teams' fan bases. So it's not just exclusive to like the Vikings fans.
As long as Dad does not delete the account like a certain dad did, I'm cool with this. As long as the last time that Phil came on this very show to document what Dad was saying, Dad hightailed it off Twitter.
Well, Don was liking anti-Zimmer tweets, anti-Spielman tweets. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't realize that people can see your liked tweets. So if you're liking anti-Zimmer tweets, it's going to get out there.
You know what? Don got what Don desired.
Well, yeah, and like we said,
they were all fired.
Everyone feels the same way about Zimmer, right? At the end of the year, it's like, it's probably time for him to be gone. You might want to build a better relationship with your quarterback. So he wasn't liking anything that 90% of the fan base and the owners didn't already agree with.
Absolutely.
And he deleted his Twitter account. So, all right. Would you guys, the Vikings still have some cap space left here, so I don't think it's a financial issue. I think it's really about, where does J.C. Tretter want to play, and are the Vikings open to bringing him on despite the potential injury risk? And they could probably do it. I'd have to go see, how many offensive linemen are you going to keep, and does this mean that you'd have to get rid of somebody that might be starting for you, or Garrett Bradbury? Or ideally, you would keep Bradbury as a backup to J.C. Tretter. Maybe he'd be a bad soldier in that case, but I don't know what are Garrett Bradbury's options. If you bring in J.C. Tretter, I mean, is he going to demand a trade?
Garrett Bradbury has to know that he's a bust, right? Like, he has to know that.
I think he's still holding out hope going into a new regime here, is my guess.
Possibly, but my point is he's still going to be paid. He's in no position to be like, well, they screwed me. Like, he should come in and be like, I need to work my ass off now. And hell, you know what? J.C. Tretter, possibly, who knows, could help him. There's nobody on this roster currently, offensive line-wise, who can help him.
Yeah. Yep, man, a veteran center to help with Kirk, to help with,
I feel like that's me, right? Like a veteran, just grizzled, not really a sexy type of player, but just a grizzled veteran type who just brings takes to the show.
J.C. Tretter looks like a guy who rides a motorcycle. I have no idea if he does, but he looks like a guy that would hop on a hog, and ride around in the summertime. Harley, Indian, Metric Cruiser, sport bike, whatever you need. Dennis Kirk, JC, has got you covered, and DennisKirk.com. If it's apparel, if it's helmets, if it's other parts and accessories, they have over 100,000 parts in stock. Same-day shipping on orders placed before 8 p.m. and free shipping on orders over $89. Ride more, wait less at DennisKirk.com. All right, thanks for indulging us on this sort of emergency bonus episode talking about the schedule and the future starting Vikings center. That's a wrap on Purple Daily. We'll see you guys tomorrow.